What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with a preview video. And as we talked about earlier this week, there were a number of really amazing items that sold at Hakes for really reasonable prices in their last auction. And they've got a new one coming up that starts this month and ends at the beginning of June. So I wanted to give you the details on that, as well as just kind of give you an idea of how to join Hakes and how you can start bidding on some of these amazing items. I can tell you this much, that the items in this upcoming auction are not budget items. There are some incredible items. They have a digital catalog available, and we're going to go through what they show in that, and there's going to be more items, I'm sure, but here's the details on it. So I'm at Hakes.com, and all of these auctions are going to be closing June 2nd. So it's a really, it's labeled a Star Wars. Excuse me, I just had a Diet Dr. Pepper. You think I learned my lesson by now. This is a Star Wars special event auction online starting May 16th. The closing dates again are June 2nd. And wow, just these 4 items alone are incredible. You got a first shot mock-up figure on a Star Wars Ewoks card for an unproduced figure. It's no grade on that one because it is a mock-up. And so it's kind of hand assembled, things like that, hand glued to the card. You got a double telescoping saber Vader AFA 90. AFA 90, that is insane. We've got an AFA 80 vinyl cape Jawa mint on card, and you got an AFA 80 Power of the Force yak face, which I believe was only available in Canada. Wow, just these 4 items alone, I don't even want to think about the prices on those. Before I dig into the latest kind of Hakes auction list, I wanted to at least show you how to register. Here again is the upcoming online auction. And there is a link to the special event, Star Wars special event catalog, and I'll put a link for that catalog in the video description for this video, and we'll get to that in a second. But first, for those of you who've never bid on Hakes, you know, I've bid on a number of items over the years. I've just never won anything because Hakes in general tends to command big dollars, and it attracts a lot of big whales, both internationally as well as within the U.S., and their items, they tend to specialize, as you can see here, on pre-production stuff and very high-grade rare stuff. And, you know, as an example, there's a rocket-firing Fett here, and that's going to be in this auction. There's a Meccano AFA 40 square card. They got a mint-on card bootleg, a Hungarian bootleg Boba Fett. I mean, just incredible stuff. And, you know, in general, Hakes, you know, is the go-to auction house for these types of items. If you own these types of items, you know, I don't know what they charge in terms of submissions for auction, but they always get the highest prices, better than eBay, better than anything on Facebook, obviously. And, you know, if I've got a rare item in my hands and I want to sell it, I'm probably calling Hakes. I've got to be honest with you. And probably when I die, you know, the few rare items that I have, I don't have a lot of rare items, but the few rare items I have, I imagine my wife's probably gonna be calling Hakes and saying, here, my husband is now worm food. I don't need these little plastic dolls anymore. Please sell them for me. And if you want to bid on Hakes, the registration is fairly straightforward. You just register for an account with your personal info here. You got to create a password. You have to input your mailing and shipping address if they're different. And once you create, you know, once you go through this submission process, you do have to link a credit card to it if you want to bid. If you don't want to bid, you just want to log in and have an account and be able to watch items, then you don't need to link a credit card. But for me, in this last auction, I did win 2 items, amazingly enough, because there were some budget-friendly items. And don't get me wrong, I spent a lot of money, but, you know, relative to some of these other stuff that's out there, it was in my wheelhouse, so to speak, and I could actually, you know, I had the money in hand after selling some stuff to be able to afford it. And I linked a credit card and I bid, and they've charged my credit card. I have not gotten the items yet, but so once I've received those items, I'll talk more about how they pack and what the turnaround time is from paying for your items to actually receiving them. And we'll take a look at the 2 really nice mint on card vintage Kenner items that I picked up. But in terms of bidding, it's a really straightforward. All you got to do is link a credit card and you're ready to rock. And so let's take a look at the digital catalog. And they put out one of these for every single auction that they do. As I mentioned, they just had one that had a lot of nice affordable items as well as some expensive stuff. And we talked about that in the market update and the kind of closed auction price data for that. But they're going to have everything. It's not just Star Wars. They're going to have, you know, all kinds of different toys and things. But this is what the digital catalog looks like. There's a page there on the staff, the Hakes auction staff. The first item that I wanted to show is this. This is a L-slot rocket-firing Boba Fett prototype, unpainted. It's graded AFA 80+. What an incredible item. A piece of collecting history and one of the more desirable quote-unquote holy grails. And I say holy grail loosely there because there are a lot of these, right? It seems like almost every Hakes auction, they have another rocket-firing prototype Boba Fett figure come up for auction. So there were a number of them. I don't know how many of them have survived. There's talk that there's 50. I've heard as high as 100. It just depends. But that's the first one in the auction. Here's another one. This is an engineering pilot Boba Fett, 80+. So after they removed the rocket-firing Fett, obviously they had to do kind of factory test runs for the figure to see how it was going to look and to make sure that the manufacturing process was okay. And this was obviously proven to be an engineering pilot. I've got a couple of engineering pilot type items in my collection. Obviously not a Boba Fett figure. But that one was graded 80+. We have a long display header from when the original first 12 figures were launched. This would be like a point of sale display. This was graded AFA 75. We've got a 12, we just covered one of these actually in a recent market update for eBay. We saw an ungraded one sell for about $800. Well, this is an AFA 85 example. And here's also, this is the display header that would slide into this box. So not only do they have the whole box available for purchase or for bidding, but they also have it graded just the header card. A couple of other kind of Star Wars Toy Center. These are all kind of like point of sale display signs that you'd find at retail back in the 1980s. And so they got a few of those. Here was a early bird certificate set graded AFA 85. We got an early bird set. So this was actually what was mailed. You would purchase this in the Christmas of 1977, and inside would be a certificate that you would mail off to Kenner. And then lo and behold, several months later, this is what you'd get back. This would be the early bird kit. And this one has the double telescoping Luke inside. There were some with and some without. And this whole set is graded with the certificate, with the figures still in the baggie and the box, and it was graded AFA 80. So this is a true survivor, and I bet that goes for big money. I don't know what it will sell for, but I would imagine 20, 25,000. I mean, it could be more than that. I have no idea. I don't track early bird kits very much because they're just so expensive, but it'll be really curious to see what that sells for. Here was a double telescoping saber Luke graded AFA 85. We just documented several of those that have sold for between $3,000 and $4,000. Here are another couple of Lukes that are early Lukes, 12-back C and a 12-back B graded AFA. The 12-back B is graded CAS 85, and then the 12-back C, which is the Taiwan Luke Farm Boy, is graded AFA 80. We've got some Ben Kenobis, C-3POs, an R2-D2. Just really beautiful items here. Got another Han with the small head, AFA 60. We've got an AFA 85 Han Solo on the 12-back C card. I mean, just really beautiful items. Here's that vinyl cape Jawa that we just talked about. It's AFA 80, vinyl cape, 12-back A. Just an incredible piece of collecting history. Unpunched. I mean, this is the creme de la creme of items here. We've got a UKG 85, 12-back B, Sand People. Another 12-back C that's graded AFA 80. Here's a 12-back A, Darth Vader with the SKU on the figure stand, AFA 80. Just unbelievable. Probably my favorite item from this whole lot that's going to be starting here on May 16th. This is an AFA 90 double telescoping Satyr Darth Vader. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I have no idea what that's going to sell for, but that's going to be a big one. That is going to be a big one. I would guess, I mean, I would think close to 40 grand, maybe somewhere in that ballpark. But that is got to be a pretty rare one on the population report with AFA. Again, some early card backs here. You got a Guerra Stellare Harbored Italian Market 12-back Jawa. That's graded AFA 80. Same thing for the Darth Vader. That's 80+. You've got a Palatoy 12-back B graded UKG 80%. I mean, if you've got the big bucks, this is the one to go for. Here's one I'd love to pick up, but this one I'm sure will go well outside my budget. But this is a 20-back G Death Star droid graded AFA 85. Unbelievable. You've got a square card Meccano U95, an uncirculated 95 square card Meccano Jawa. I mean, look at that. I've got a U80, and it doesn't look anywhere close to this. It's like playing a whole different sport compared to a U95, but that one's gonna sell for big money. Here is a blue snaggletooth baggy, graded AFA 85. You've got a collect all 21 action figures store display hitter. That's CAS 85. You've got a mail away Boba Fett graded AFA 85. I mean, these items, I mean, I would wager that the final sales prices are just going to be completely jaw dropping. And here's a 21 back B Boba Fett AFA 85 plus. I mean, this is the type of stuff that deep pocketed collectors live for. And I don't know how they're, if I'm a multi-millionaire, you're probably going to be spending quite a bit of money here. Here's an AFA 80 plus removable rocket Lily Letty Boba Fett. So this was made down in Mexico, and a select number of them actually had a rocket that was never welded into the backpack, and it doesn't have any weld marks on it or anything like that. And to get one that high grade, that'll probably approach $5,000 pretty easily, I would imagine. Here is a really nice one. This is the 7-inch Japanese market only Takara Stormtrooper. That was AFA 80. Those bubbles are notoriously fragile, and they have all kinds of weird angles. So to see one that high of a grade, I don't know if I've ever seen one that high of grade. And to be honest with you, it's been many years since I've even seen a Stormtrooper mint on card from this Takara series. But that's a pretty amazing item. There's some pre-production box flats for sale. You've got another die-cast display header. This is the first time I've ever seen a display header for the die-cast series. That's AFA 70. You've got the Sonic Controlled Land Speeder. That's AFA 80, as well as the regular Land Speeder, the first issue with the Long Play logo. That's AFA 80. You got some other mint and sealed box examples. We just talked about this Imperial Troop Transport and a number of those that just sold at auction at Collectibles Investment Brokerage on eBay. You got the Death Star Station, the Kenner Canada version, AFA 80. And some other really rare ones here. These are kind of like props or costume type pieces. And these are Kenner Canada Luke Skywalker utility belt with the orange insert. That is graded qualified 70. And then also a qualified 70 for the Vader set. So again, those are types of items that you might see come up once every 5 years. And I fully expect those to sell for insane prices. Here's that square card Meccano Boba Fett. It's got the blister support. It's an AFA 40. I just can't believe I'm actually seeing one of these come up for sale. And I mean, I would imagine that'll, even despite the low grade, it'll probably command some big money. You've got the highly coveted 21 back ESB transition card Stormtrooper. I believe that is one of the rarest of the ESB 21 back secret action figure offer cards. That's an AFA 80 plus. You've got a walking photo Empire Strikes Back 31 back Luke Bespin AFA 90. I believe we saw one sell several months ago that was an AFA 90 that sold for insane money. I don't remember the exact number, but I want to say it was in the $8,000 to $9,000 range or something higher. I don't remember. Here's a 31 back B Leia Bespin AFA 85. You got a 31 back A Boba Fett, as well as a 40, looks like a 48 back Boba Fett, 48A. You got the free Revenge of the Jedi Leia Hoth AFA 90. Again, some more box flats. This is a box flat for the 12-inch Chewbacca AFA 80. You've got a mint and sealed box AT-AT Walker with the Empire Strikes Back logo. That's AFA 75, as well as a Chromalin. So this is a very early kind of photographic type material. It's really thick kind of cardstock, and this is when they're first designing the box art for the MLC3 mini rig, and that one's AFA 80. You got a few Revenge of the Jedi proof cards, everything from the removable limbs C-3PO to a Han Solo Hoth. You've got an Imperial Stormtrooper in the Hoth battle gear, AFA 90. You got a CAS 80 plus Jawa Revenge of the Jedi proof card, a Walrus Man, and also a 77 back A Boba Fett AFA 70. Here is a really nice one. This is the El Regreso del Jedi Top Toys Made in Argentina Darth Vader AFA 85. That's a tough one. That's a tough one to find in that high of a grade. And this is one that has my mouth watering. This is a mint on card Boba Fett Hungarian bootleg. And this is just, one of the more incredible items. It's a qualified 50 because the blister was just stapled to the backs of those really cool Hungarian card art there. I mean, that's the yellow card, and you can see it's got the Hungarian language there. You've got another Chromelin for the this is a revenge proof sheet for the Millennium Falcon AFA 85. You got a mint and sealed box, Return of the Jedi box for the Millennium Falcon. That's AFA 80. Just unbelievable items. Look at here's some more revenge Chromelins there for the mini rigs. A couple of mint and sealed box vehicles. I mean, it's almost like too much, right? When I see this stuff, it's like waking up from a dream. It's like there's no way that this stuff even exists, but it actually does, believe it or not. This is a cool one. This is a Power of the Force 92 back proof card or proof sheet for the Lando that was never produced. So a lot of those Power of the Force figures that never made it onto the Power of the Force card backs at retail, some of those kind of proof sheets from the pre-production process still exist, and that's AFA 80. Power of the Force Yoda, that's AFA 80. That's a tough one to find. And then you got the Canadian Power of the Force Yak Face. I'm sure that'll be over $10,000. That's AFA 80. And here's that first shot sales sample, Monjulpa. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right, but this is again, it's got a Barada coin inside because again, this is kind of a mock-up. And what they would do is, they would create these sales samples, and then the salesman would take them to retail distributors or buyers and say, hey, here's what it's going to look like on the Ewoks card. And of course, this figure was never produced. So a couple of other really cool ones. These are some Glasslight South American vehicles with the boxes, and they're qualified graded. But, these, you occasionally see these pop up on eBay, but they're never like graded or anything like that. It's usually just like a loose box, kind of in beat up shape. So pretty incredible items. And again, as a reminder, for any of the final sales prices with Hakes, if you're bidding, you got to add 18%. That's the buyer's premium. All the auction houses, whether it's Vectis or Heritage or Hakes, they all charge the buyers a premium, and that helps pay for the auction process and helps pay their salaries, so to speak. So you got to add 18% to whatever you bid, and the numbers add up pretty quick. The shipping on my two items were very reasonable. I think I have 2 mint on cards coming, and I don't remember the exact price for the shipping, but I want to say it was around $50 for both of them. And they combine the shipping, and after you win something, they'll send you an email with the final invoice, and then they charge the credit card unless you call them and say, hey, I don't want to pay by that credit card. I'd like to pay by check, and they give you a small discount. But again, they don't ship until you actually pay and the funds have gone through. So keep all that in mind. But anyway, just some really jaw-dropping items that are going to be in this special Star Wars auction. And again, it starts May 16th with bidding ending on June 2nd. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.